Boys, is it just me, or does it feel like the UFC is not just going downhill, but heavily going downhill and going downhill fast? We had such high hopes for this year that, 2025, we're going to have this match. We were so excited for so many different matches. Pretty much everybody was saying that 2025 is going to be one of the best years for UFC that we have seen in a hot minute. We are almost halfway through the year. We are like a third of the way through the year. And to be honest, it's been a huge letdown. And I don't want people to say, our expectations were way too high and there's no way the UFC could have realistically done that. That's some bullshit. The UFC could fully have done that. And because of that, I have 10 things here that if I ran the UFC, I would implement the first year as soon as I can as being the new owner, the new head honcho of the UFC. So Dana, if you need some help, I know you're not the head honcho, but if you need some help, get all the people involved, put me on board. I got some ideas. I got 10 of them in this video. Best believe I can get more on the way. But the first one, these aren't in any specific order. Number one isn't going to be any more important than 10. But number one, we're getting rid of all the current bonuses. Fight bonus, fight of the night bonus, submit. I don't even know if we do submission bonus anymore. But the current bonus system, we are getting rid of it. Instead, we are going to add 3 different tiers of bonuses for finishes. So we're going to have a finish bonus. If you get a finish in the UFC, you will get a bonus. Like I said, there's 3 different tiers. The first tier, this is just going to be for the standard, it was a finish. Is it anything crazy? No, 30K bonus. We are going to try to incentivize people looking for the finish and not trying to be decision merchants. Moving down, if you get a nice highlight reel KO, 50K. And again, it's not going to be limited to 2 people. Whoever gets a finish is getting the bonus. And then again, if you get a crazy highlight reel KO, and we don't have to be super strict on it. It doesn't have to be like a Joaquin Buckley, spinning kick to the face. It doesn't have to be crazy like that. But if you get a nice highlight reel KO, 80K, 30, 50, 80. I think that's how it should be. I think every single finish deserves a bonus. Again, maybe 30 might be too much. Maybe we start with 20 if we're just going to hand them out here and there. But again, I think we need to give these fighters a reason to look for the finish, because I think a lot of the reasons why that we're not seeing these fighters looking for the finish, there's no incentive to do so. So we get this different finish bonus tiers in. We implement that, and then I only want to have, one. I want a guaranteed fight of the night. I don't want to fully get rid of that, but I also want to increase the limit to 65K, because I do think it's time we increase the bonuses. So like we saw, we increased the bonuses for finishes technically, because you can get up to 80K for that. And I believe we should have at least one fight of the night, 65K, a good 15K increase. I like that one. Moving down, I think we also get some fans involved with this. Maybe we post on the IG, we post 4 fighters at a time, and the fans vote who should get an extra, let's call it 10K. If we want to be stingy about it, 5K. But I think we get some fans involved into this, so we go 4, 4, 4, however many times we need to. And if we just want to do that, let's say 4 times, 3 times, I just want to get some fan interactions here. Let's say we only want to do, an extra 20K. So we find 2 guys that the fans can vote on to get the extra 10K each. If we want to move it up to 40K, we get 4 different fighters. And yeah, I just think we need to start implementing some fan interactions here. And yeah, that's what I think we should do for bonuses. Let's keep moving down though, because that's just for bonuses and stuff like that. I also think, moving down, I think we need to get some more talent for struggling divisions. For example, right now, heavyweight. I want to just go find some fighters outside the UFC. Now, we don't necessarily need to just look in the heavyweight division. We can look at some light heavyweight fighters and sign them as well under the contract, saying like, you're going to be your first, let's call it 3-fight deal is going to be at heavyweight. We need to get some talent in this heavyweight division. Am I saying light heavyweight doesn't need help too? No, it does need some help, but right now let's focus on heavyweight. So we go look for some more, let's say the top 15 fighters, maybe top 5 heavyweight and light heavyweights in the outside organizations. We sign as many as those guys that we can do, bring some life into heavyweight. I think that's what we should do for divisions that are struggling. We look, of course, we have to look outside the UFC, but we go and we steal other organizations' top fighters. We don't need to go get champions and stuff like that because that will cost the UFC more money. Let's look at top 10, top 5 ranked guys. Moving down to the third thing. We need new matchmakers. The matchmaking, at least this year, honestly, the matchmaking for a while now has been pretty bad. It's a bunch of old heads, and we just need to replace them. We need to have good cards consistently. So for my template for pay-per-view fights, 1 title fight minimum. That's a no-brainer. And if it's a women's title fight, absolutely not. If it's a women's fight, we need 2 title fights. We need at least 1 male title fight on each pay-per-view card, as well as at least 1 number 1 contender fight. We need a very big, high-stakes fight. So for example, in bantamweight right now, we could have a Umar Nurmagomedov versus a Peter Yan number 1 contender fight. And then for the rest of the card, nothing but ranked fighters. I don't want to see a single unranked fighter unless it's a guy getting their shot into the rankings. And going into the prelim headliner, I want it to be a important top 15 fight. So again, maybe not a number 1 contender fight, but a fight that's very important for the division. Maybe it's the number 10th guy taking on the number 4th guy. Something like that has big implications for the fight. The winner looks at a number 1 contender type of fight. That's what I want for the headliner of the prelims. And as well, I forgot to mention, absolutely no women's in the main card unless it's a title fight. Women can go into the prelims and early prelims, and then into the non-pay-per-views main event, either a number 1 contender or a very high stakes ranking fight for that main event. Co-main event, at least a fight with 2 top 15 fighters. The rest of the card can be nothing but fun fights. Women can be on this main card for non-pay-per-views, but pay-per-views, absolutely 0 women on the pay-per-view unless it's a title fight. And also, title challengers need to be on a win streak and deserving of a title fight. If I'm running the UFC, absolutely no more undeserved title shots. Moving down though, for the 4th one, this is going to break a lot of people's hearts, but either bring back old Dana or we replace Dana and he steps down. Someone needs to, get shit done now. Dana is way too focused on outside stuff. We need someone who does nothing but focus on growing the UFC. Dana has his hands in, making a boxing organization. He has slap boxing. He has too much stuff right now where the UFC low-key is like a second thought to him. We need someone who is mainly focused on the UFC at all times. So, yeah, unfortunately, either Dana steps down, which I don't think he'll step down from all of the other things he's building up, or we replace him. I think we replace him. Hey, put your boy in there. And yeah, we need someone that's just driven for nothing but UFC. Dana is driven for like too many stuff right now. Let's go down halfway through. The 5th thing I would do, we're revamping the content for the UFC. The content the UFC puts out is absolutely shit. You go look at their YouTube channel, Garbaggio. I think we need some promotion, like how we have boxing promotions for like Joshua versus Wilder, how we had Francis Ngannou versus Fury, those type of big movie level ads. I want stuff like that for every single pay-per-view. I don't think it's that much to ask for, We need to start promoting the UFC. We don't promote the UFC anymore. It's retarded, but we need some big level movie types of ads for every single pay-per-view moving forward. As well as we're going to bring back the one-on-one for every single title fight and main event. Now, does it have to be the main event for a pay-per-view? I mean, unless it's a stacked pay-per-view, like a Maival versus Adesanya, then yeah, we'll do that. But if it's just Vittori versus Delizia, I mean, I would like to have it, but it's not necessary, I would like to have it for every single one, like a Jared Cannonier versus RoboCop. We didn't need a 1v1, but I would like to have it for every single main event. And just big fights in general. If we have a stacked pay-per-view, I want multiple one-on-ones for the co-main and even featured fight. And I do not want that shit on fight week. If they're recording that on fight week, their ass needs to be fired. I don't want it when they're already cutting weight. I want this shit filmed a month out and then posted during fight week. We could have Monday featured fight, Tuesday co-main event, and then if you want to prolong it, Thursday we can have the main event one-on-one. I would like that. That sounds good to me. And I want longer press conferences as well. We need more content from the UFC promoting their pay-per-views. It's retarded how little promotion that the UFC has been doing for their fights in general now. I want at least 45 minutes of non-stop talking during the press conference. I don't want a 45-minute video with 10 minutes of ads. 45 minutes of non-stop press conference, and at the end, including into that 45 minutes, I want like a 10-minute fan questions. We used to have that back in a lot of people say the glory days of Conor McGregor. We would have fans here. We would have fans out here calling out Jose Aldo, Chad Mendez. We need to bring that back. I have no idea why the UFC haven't just completely got rid of it. It makes absolutely no sense. But yeah, to sum it up, we're revamping the content. We're making movie-level promotions, co-main, main event, and featured fight. I'd like to have a one-on-one video, and I want to increase the press conference with some fan interaction. Let's go down. We're talking about all the good stuff. Now we have to do some punishing shit. Every single time someone misses weight, I don't care if it's by 0.01 pounds. If you miss weight, in your contract, you will already have agreed to this, but you will be given a brand new contract, let's say with a 15% decrease for the next 2 fights. And that should be enough of a push for these guys to cut weight. Let's say you're on a 30 for 30, right? 30 for 30. And let's just say you win. You get 60,000. Now you're taking out 15% of that, and you're only walking away with 51,000. If you lose that, you're only walking away with 25,000. And maybe that's not enough. Maybe we have to bump it up to 20%, 25%. And I'm going to hear a lot of people saying, why would you do that? That's so little. You're getting they're still going to be making more money this way than before, because their opponent would take even more money than what they're getting with their new contract. That's where you're wrong, because not only are they getting a new contract, 50% of that new contract they're going to be giving to their opponent because they did miss weight. We have to start punishing the missing weight. We need to have a firm stance on it, and I guarantee 99% of the people who miss weight with this contract in mind, I guarantee they ain't missing weight. If not, they're trying their best to go back there and cut the remaining weight. Moving down, we got 4 more to go. Number 6, I think we need to stop wasting so much money on these old, washed up fighters. We need to start cutting them, because if we want to start implementing some of the stuff that I want to start implementing, we're going to need to stop wasting money on a lot of these old head fighters. Perfect example, UFC 314, Darren Elkins. Darren Elkins probably made like $100,000 in that fight just because of how long he's been in the UFC and because of his pay structure. If we're wasting $100,000 on someone like a Darren Elkins when it can be going to, a new guy, I'm all for it. Yes, he's a vet. Yes, all this stuff. I don't care. Cut him, save some money, get some new guys in here so we can implement some of the stuff I want to do, like a 65, like the bonuses, for example. If we want to do the bonuses, we need to cut a lot of these guys who are just overpriced, in my opinion. But moving down, we need to just suck it up, and we're going to pay Trevor Whitman however much it costs for those gloves. We're going to give him the royalty, whatever he wants for it. We're getting those Trevor Whitman gloves, and those are going to be the new gloves of the UFC. Pretty easy one here. I don't know why the UFC haven't done this yet. I know exactly why, because they're cheap asses and they don't want to fork over the money. But yeah, these gloves, every professional guy who trains in them say they love them, say they would be a game changer in the UFC, and they say they're just the best gloves, period. So yeah, we're getting the gloves. Those are going to be the new gloves for the UFC. Number 9, this is a big one. Tough is gone. There's going to be no more Tough. But replacing Tough is going to be the Contender Series, but we're going to revamp it a little bit. 3 seasons per year, and each quote-unquote season will be a different region that the UFC wants to grow to increase some markets. For example, Season 1 can be Africa, Season 2, Asia, Season 3, Europe, Latin America. It goes on and on and on. The places that we want to grow in the UFC, and those will be the seasons for the Contender Series. It will run the exact same way how it is right now, except for African, Asian, Europe, those type of ones. And maybe Dana will be super interested in this and will have his full-on support, and he'll be nonstop thinking about this. But yeah, I think this is a really good idea, especially if we want to build outside places like, again, Africa, Asia, Europe, Latin America, go to Russia. Maybe not Russia right now, but places like this where we want to grow the market. Final one, number 10. no more Apex. The Apex is absolutely gone. We are not doing any more Apex events. We will have crowded events from now on, unless something crazy happens where we need an Apex event. Other than that, nothing but packed out crowds for every single event. And yeah, those are the 10 things I would implement as soon as possible if I ran the UFC. Let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think of my 10 things? Do you agree or disagree? Or do you have any other things that you would add? And personally, I honestly think if we got some of the biggest, MMA content creator, UFC content creators on this app, and we had the opportunity to run the UFC, I'm not trying to say that we would do better, but I know for a fact we could do better than some of these retarded old heads, especially for like matchmaking and shit like that. Maybe, the bonuses and stuff like that, maybe that's a little bit too much, because I don't see how the UFC could be bleeding out money where they can't fork over a few extra tens of thousands of dollars. It's not like they're, losing money every single event. Dana comes out here every single pay-per-view. We have the new largest gate holder, we're number one, like stuff like that. I think we could increase a lot of this stuff. And I guarantee if this shit got implemented, best believe, let's say I got to run the UFC for 2026, that whole year, best believe that's the best year in company history. Not just, monetary value, but fights as well. I'm putting on the best fights in 2026. But yeah, it is what it is. Thank you guys for watching to the end of the video, and I will see you guys in my next video.